Coverage is another tricky one. We'll talk more in depth about that. A vendor might say, yeah, we can do all the commands on that engine, but it won't do it on the XYZ engine. So there is a lot of that confusion going on in the marketplace as well. You also need to keep in mind about training. When you do buy a new tool, you're spending thousands of dollars buying a tool. What are they going to offer you in terms of onboarding and ongoing training with it, along with technical support as well. And we're also going to talk about flash codes, because flash codes come in two different ways. There's the raw codes that come out, and there's the flash codes. So we'll talk about that here a bit more in a second. So first of all, let's talk about the very, very best thing that you can buy in the marketplace, and that is the OEM software. So that is what the dealerships use. You cannot beat it. There are a couple vendors that get really, really, really close, but OEM software is always going to be king of the hill. So that's the best part about it. However, the bad part about it is not all of it's available. And most vendors now have gone to a required annual fee to use it. So it used to be the way that people were really doing things. People would have laptops, they would get all the OEM software they can get their hands on, and now they have 20 different icons on their desktop. And technicians have a tendency to forget how to use programs. They all look different. Most technicians are not computer experts, so it becomes a little cumbersome trying to do that. And then trying to manage multiple licenses with multiple vendors and multiple expiration dates is a pain in itself at all. All right, so to give you an idea of some of the OEM software you can buy, I threw a slide up on the screen that has this. So up on the screen, you'll see a variety of different vendor software along with the initial purchase price and the required fees. And as you can see, some of them, especially the import ones, such as Hino, Isuzu, Mitsubishi Fuso, those ones are all terribly, terribly expensive. Hino, for example, $2,200 per year just to have the ability to connect to their vehicles and troubleshoot codes and perform tests. And it gets really expensive from there. So the other problem is not all of it's available. There's a couple vendors that won't even sell it to you. Caterpillar, for example, for their ET software, if they will sell it to you, and 99% of the time they won't, it's going to cost you $750 a year. The PACCAR software, if they'll sell it to you, and they usually will not sell it to independent repair shops or competing fleets, you're talking $1,200 the first year and then $400 a year after that. And that still leaves out Nissan UV out of the mix, as the older software is not available for those guys. So that's just giving an example that not all of it's out there. So what do you do in those situations? So there's a variety of solutions in the market. One of the cheapest solutions is just the generic little handheld readers. So those are priced anywhere from $300 and up. And if you ever had one of these, you will notice, or maybe even seen this on dash clusters, where you have these MID, PID, FMIs. What do they mean? And not much to anybody. That's the raw data that's coming out of the ECUs off the vehicle. So it'll pick those up, but sometimes it'll give you the actual description. Other times, it'll give you absolutely nothing at all and say not recognized or give you some type of error. So that's the biggest problem with those handheld scanners. And the other issue is they're not updatable. All right, so usually you buy it, you're kind of locked into whatever you have, and it is what it is. It's a $300 scanner. And the other last problem with them is functionality performance. When we decided on what brand that we were going to carry, we literally bought 5 or 6 different ones, and we went to our local shop and hooked up to a variety of equipment. And basically, every one was reading something a little bit differently or not right or missing codes or missing ECUs that it should have been detecting. So there can be a great variety in those little handheld guys. So moving on up in the world, let's talk about JPRO. JPRO was one of the very first ones in the market to come out with a universal program that would connect to pretty much anything. It's going to read all the codes, and it's going to give you the actual OEM flash codes and the raw data codes, and it's going to give you live sensor data. So JPRO came out with that software package. It's been around for a while. Some of the bidirectional controls that you'll see in there, they do have some. So what JPRO has done is they used to be modular, where you could buy their heavy truck add-on, and then you could buy their Cummins add-on, or their Ford add-on, or their Sprinter add-on, or whatever it is that you wanted to watch. or wanted to be able to have. They have now changed that. So one of the things they changed is now there is a required annual fee to use their software, and you have to buy their entire suite of packages. So right now, JPRO is charging $1,600 a year, and you get everything. Not only the universal one that reads everything, but the Cummins, the Detroit, Mack Global, Ford, Sprinter, and GM. And after 1 year, that program will completely stop working, and you have to pay that fee again. And the coverages they do have for some of the bidirectional controls are very, very limited. So an example being with Cummins, and we're getting these right off of their website for this data. They only have 5 commands that you can run for a Cummins, compared to some of the other vendors that have over 50. Detroit has 4, etc. And they have no bidirectional control for Hino, Isuzu, Fuso, Packard, Cat, International, Allison, Eaton. There's a bunch of them that are missing. And everything we talked about and the pricing shown up on top of the page does not include any kind of repair information. All that is extra. JPRO has teamed up with Mitchell 1 to provide their own version of it called Next Step, which they charge $2,200 a year for. So in a sense, for some people, it's a good solution. To me, it's not a great solution, and it's really overpriced, especially when we kind of compare to some of the other products that are out in the marketplace, especially the next one on the slide. And the next one slide is called PF-Diagnose. It's made by a company called Pocketfleet. So Pocketfleet, the software itself, is another universal program like JPRO, where it will read everything. You read every ECU on the vehicle, which is engine, transmission, ABS, cab controllers. So it reads all those things, and it gives you the OEM flash codes. It gives you the live sensor data. You can even do force regen on things that use the OBD2 plug, which is a 16 trapezoid plug that you find in automobiles and Isuzus and those types. And you can change parameters at international. So the great thing about Pocketfleet is it has a low price point. It's $600. It works forever. That's the thing we really, really like about it. It never expires, so you're not going to be stuck having to pay a fee every year to keep using it, like a lot of the other vendors have switched to. And updates for it are only $125 a year if you want to get them. And the other great thing about Pocketfleet is it does work with a variety of other equipment, such as truck, auto, marine, earth moving, John Deere, generators, etc. So it's a great universal catch-all program that will hook up and read pretty much anything that you run across. But for the most point, you cannot change parameters or run tests, and there's really limited built-in troubleshooting. So it's a good tool for the people that want wide coverage, just not very deep, because what we typically do with that program is we'll pair it up with some of the OEM software. So a customer that has an all Cummins fleet or all Packard fleet, a lot of times they'll add on the other OEM software that we can get for them. So that software is $600. We pair it up with an adapter, and we also pair it up in a complete laptop kit. So that laptop kit is shown here. This is kind of our signature kit. This is one of the more popular units that we sell. It includes PF-Diagnose. It includes the adapters and cables. It includes the laptop. And it's just got a wide variety of information on there, including the service manuals. And we add on the OEM software for customers that want it at that point. We'll talk about DTC Solutions here at the end. DTC Solutions is a program that will tell you how to fix all of the codes on all of the vehicles and never expires. So we have a little slide at the end that we can cover with that one. Moving on up to another system, this is called the HD Pro. It's made by a company called CanDo. So this is really a specialized tool. We have them here. We've sold a couple of them. The thing it's really good at, first of all, it'll hook up and read everything, but it's not always going to give you the OEM flash codes. You're going to get a lot of those generic codes that are out there, those mid-PID FMIs that we mentioned. You will be able to view live sensor data, but the thing that it does is it does give you all those bidirectional commands for 3 engines, and there's more coming soon. So for all you Hino, Isuzu customers that are out there, this is a great tool because instead of having to pay an annual fee, as I mentioned, Hino, the OEM software by itself, charges $2,200 a year. This software, you just pay for it once, it works forever. And you can do, yes, you can do DPF force regen, you can do parameter changing, you can do injector cutout tests on Hino and Isuzu and Cummins. The negatives with it are this. So if you look at the picture of it, you'll see there's about a dozen different cables laid out up there. That's because outside of North America, there is a variety of cables used. Inside the US, we only use our 6-pin, our 9-pin, and OBD2 for the most part. So this tool is actually imported from China, and it's a worldwide tool that they're trying to make work over here. And that's kind of why the import stuff has the bidirectional commands, and the American stuff doesn't. But it is a non-Windows-based tablet, so you cannot add any other software to it. We can't add any kind of remote management software to help troubleshoot with you, and it's a standalone system. And tech support for them, they have it. It's basically one person in California. So those of us on the East Coast, it's a little bit of an issue trying to call somebody when there's a 3-hour time zone difference. So let's talk about one that everybody sees out there. If you run a repair shop or a fleet, I'm sure you get your local Snap-on truck coming by, and they are trying to sell you their ProLink Ultra Heavy Duty. And this thing is a monster. Well, so first of all, it's made by a company that Snap-on owns called Nexic. All right, so the Nexic version comes blue. The Snap-on version comes red. And the way it works is, again, it's modular. So you buy the hardware only, and the base hardware, you know, for just the adapter and cables, and the little carry case, is going to run you about $2,500 bucks. But from there, you have to add on all the OEM software that you want. So the problem being, by the time you get done buying all the available software that Snap-on will sell you for their ProLink Ultra Heavy Duty, you can easily be up to $14,000 in a heartbeat. And most of them, the bidirectional commands are included, but there are many, many gaps in coverage. So if you go with the Snap-on ProLink Ultra Heavy Duty route, you will find out that there are no commands you can run for Mack and Volvo, Cummins, PACCAR, Hino, Isuzu, Mitsubishi Fuso, or UD. So at the end of the day, we have a lot of clients that call us and say, look, I got a Snap-on Ultra Heavy Duty. They paid anywhere from $10,000 to $14,000 to get everything, and they still can't do everything that they want to do. And there's also no repair information included as well. So that's all extra stuff that you have to buy, and not all the commands are in there. So they'll tell you, oh, this is our international module. You can do everything with it. Or this is our Caterpillar module. You can do everything with it. Well, no, you can't. You can't program an injector, which you have to do on most Caterpillar engines with the trim files. So there's some gaps in coverage with it as well. And the annual support fees can literally kill you with this machine as well, because they're going to start charging you updates for all the software. We have another client. He said he had an old ProLink Ultra. It was 2 or 3 years old. To get it updated, it was $2,500 bucks is what they charged them. So to keep it going and keep current is not a cheap solution either with Snap-on. It is a good tool. It's just the most expensive on the market and has tons and tons of gaps in coverage. The ESI Truck is the one by Bosch. So the ESI Truck, Bosch kind of came out with this thing about a year ago. Well, I should back up. First of all, Bosch doesn't make this tool. It's actually all, the background information in it, the diagnostics and all the stuff in there is made by a company called Kajali over in Spain. And Kajali wasn't making a distribution over here with their product that they wanted, but they decided to team up with Bosch. So Bosch takes their software, wraps it up into their own little program and adapter and toolkit, and puts it out in the marketplace. So this tool has more coverage than the ProLink Ultra Heavy Duty, and their tech support is actually very, very good. And the other great thing with it is you can use their green box that's shown over there as a standard compliant device where you can use it with other OEM software. So there are a couple big negatives with it though as well. So it's a good tool, it's just not a great tool because of a couple things. One being, you have to pay a required fee every single year in order to use the software. So if you don't pay that software at that fee at the end of a year, you will no longer get updates and your software will go read-only. You're completely done. So that's issue number one. There are updates that do come out. They only do updates 3 times a year. They send you DVDs in the mail, and it literally takes anywhere from 1 to 2 hours to load the discs. And then they don't even tell you what they changed or what they upgraded. So we have a demo machine here. We just got our update for it. We did the whole thing, and it's a great, we're updated, what's new, what's different, and there's nothing. There's no file, there's nothing addressed about it. The Bosch website doesn't have anything on it either, so we don't know what the update did. And the coverage is not as advertised. So the biggest problem with this tool is everybody is selling it. You can go online and Google ESI Truck, Bosch, and there'll be 50 vendors that pop up. Every Napa store, every tool distributor you can think of or tool dealer will have this product available to you. And the problem is they don't know what they're selling. And they'll tell you, yeah, it does everything on everything. Don't worry about it. But it's not true. There's a lot of issues missing. We've sold several dozen of them, and we know exactly what they won't do. So some of the questions and some of the problems that we've seen with it is, example, 2013 and newer Volvo trucks are read-only. You cannot run any commands on them. PACCAR engines. PACCAR engines will set an EGR, they'll basically derate the engine if you have an EGR code logged for longer than 10 hours. And you need to run a command to underate it. And that command's missing from the Bosch system. We've had problems with the international coverages with commands just missing or not there. Another example being we have a test ECM here on our bench, and we hooked it up with this unit, and there was a total of 10 different commands or parameters that we could change. When we go look at one of these other tools, there's over 50. So it does a lot, and it gets most of the way there. It just doesn't get all of the way there. And in our opinion, it's still a little bit overpriced, and that annual fee is the real deal breaker with us, because to have to pay a fee every year to keep using a tool, it's not a great solution in our mind. Those are really the things that we don't like. Going on to the last one that we have here, this is the TEXA IVC4 is the name of this software program. So the TEXA, I can tell you, is by far the best diagnostic tool in the market. It is priced less than the Bosch, it is priced less than the JPRO, and it's priced less than the Snap-on, almost by half. And the great thing about it is there are no required annual fees. So if you don't pay your annual fee at the end of the year, you have 100% functionality, and it'll keep working. If you do want to keep getting updates, it's only $650 a year. So it's great in that sense that you're not tied to anything. You can even go late with no penalty. So if you want to wait 6 months or a year to get updated, you can easily do that, and there's no penalty to do it. You'll just get caught right back up. The other great thing about it is that the updates are meaningful. So TEXA does more updates than all the other vendors. They'll do 4 to 7 major releases a year, and they'll do patches in between. So their major releases are very, very good. So an example being, they added Thermo King reefer unit diagnostics to this unit on one of the last updates. They're the only vendor I know of that even offers Thermo King along with the cable to go with it. So for these customers that are looking for expanded diagnostics, the TEXA is definitely the way to go. They're the only one I know of that does injector programming on all of the engines that are out there, from Isuzu to Detroit has some, Caterpillar has them. It does them all. And it also works on all the imports. So those really expensive solutions that you saw earlier, which were the Hino, the Mitsubishi Fuso, the Isuzu, works great on all of those. And they also have other modules available, such as off-highway and agriculture, power sports, which covers motorcycles and jet skis, marine, and auto. There are a couple negatives with this tool, with all that said. So the negatives being their adapter is proprietary to them. That's that little box that says TXT in the picture. You cannot use that adapter with any other software. It only works with their computer. And then there is a time zone difference. TEXA headquarters is based over in Italy, is where they're coming from. And TEXA's been around since 1992, so they've been here for quite a while. They're a very large company. They do have some people here in the U.S. as well, but the majority of them are over in Italy. So we do all the, and to back up even one further step, any tool we sell, we do all the troubleshooting here first. We're the first call. So most of the times we're able to help you and solve the problems. But however, when we can't, and it's in the afternoon, it's a little hard for us to get a hold of TEXA. So those would be the only two negatives that I can really say about the machine. But if you're looking for something that does everything on virtually everything, from force regen, parameter changing, injector programming, and along with the code lookup and solutions with no required annual fees, definitely take a look at the TEXA system. Right? So there is one program that we do include with all the kits that we do sell. This is something that only we offer. It's called DTC Solutions. And basically what this software program is it will allow you to get abbreviated repair information for all the codes on all the commercial trucks that exist. So everything from Cat, Cummins, Detroit, Mack, Volvo, Hino, Isuzu, including all the ABS systems and transmission systems, it'll tell you exactly what it does and how it works. So to give you just a real quick look at it, I'll bring it over on my screen over here so I can show everybody. And it's a very, very simple program. You would simply go down through the list, select what you want to look at, Cummins, all engines, pick your code, and down here it's going to tell you a little bit about the code, and it's also going to tell you some of the repair information for it as well. So for customers that are looking for repair information, that comes with all of our kits, including the service manuals that we provide with it, and you can purchase that separately as well. All right, so with that said, that's really the high 10,000 foot approach to the major players that are out there for the diesel diagnostic equipment. If any of you want to talk about it more or talk about your unique needs, we obviously have free one-on-one consultations. Just call us at the number shown on the screen or email us. And we'd be more than happy to talk to you because every customer is different. If you call me up and say, hey, I'm an all Hino fleet, we're going to have a totally different conversation than the guy that calls up and says, I'm an all Cummins fleet. And we're going to give you multiple options at multiple price points so that you decide what's best for you and your business. We offer tech support. We have a full staff of technical support people here, and all we do is diesel diagnostic equipment. So any tool we sell, whether it's an adapter, a cable, or a complete kit, has those packages, has that support package available. That comes free with it. Long-term financing, we realize this is not a cheap tool. We have a lot of customers that take us up on our financing solutions, so we can get you financed all the way up to 5 years for low monthly payments. We offer training with everything we sell. So training would include, we have a variety of online training that comes on YouTube. We have videos that include the laptops, and we do free online over the internet training with clients as well. We also have, for people that want to get maybe a little bit better in-depth look at some of these tools, we will be more than happy to come on site if we have a rep in your area, and we do have reps in several states across the country. And we also will be more than happy to do them over the internet as well. So if anybody wants to spend some time with us and go over it, and I believe that's really the end of it. And I know I got a couple questions out there, and I'm trying to keep this at a half an hour to 45 minutes. I know time is money and people are busy, and lunchtime's coming up for us on the East Coast. So Lori, I know there's some questions on there. Why don't you go ahead and send those over to me if you haven't already.
They've been emailed to you, Tyler.
Okay, no problem. Let me pull my email up here. All right, so 1 second, please. Amazing how many emails I can get in a couple seconds. All right. Yeah, Eric asked a question about the ProLink with the Cummins 2013 and up. Snap-on actually talked to Diagnostic this morning about it. They have, I believe they're coming out with 2 modules. If they're not out already, maybe they are. But the Cummins will be 2013 and newer only, so 2012 and older, you're out of luck. And the other issue was regarding international with them. So they said they're going to have some more international coverage coming out available as well. So they are doing it. But again, the most expensive tool on the market, not as much functionality as the other guys. If you're spending that much money, I guess you got more money than we do. I would really look hard at either the TEXA system is the best, but maybe the Bosch might fit your situation as well. So we had another question asked here about regens on Isuzus. There are actually three options we offer for Isuzu regens. It's going to depend. I'm going to go back a couple slides here. So regens on Isuzu, if it is an N-series Isuzu, the signature kit will do it, which is the PF-Diagnose software. So we have our complete kit there, or we have the software by itself available as well. So that question, very good question, that will do Isuzu's. The other one that will do Isuzu's, let me scroll to it, is the HD Pro. So the HD Pro will definitely do force regen on Hino's and Isuzu's and some Cummins. Don't expect a lot more of them to be able to do it. And then the last tool that we have that I know for sure does it is the TEXA. So TEXA will even take it a step further than the other solutions. The TEXA will also do injector programming and the glow plug modular relay relearn on the Isuzu's as well. So that would be the most in-depth tool that we have. Of course, you could always go by the OEM software for Isuzu if you wanted to, and that software is going to cost you obviously some money to do that, and you have to pay every year. All right, another question, changing horsepowers on engines. Okay, very good question. So let's go all the way back to one of the very first slides with OEM software. First of all, there are very, very few OEMs that will let you change horsepower on an engine, all right, at least legally. Plenty of people doing out there with the bootleg pirated stuff, and there's companies out there that advertise that stuff and have their own tools they've made to do it. But for the most part, only a couple let you do it legally. One of them being Detroit, the other one being Premium Tech Tool, and Cummins. So you can go through some training classes and spend some money to go with those guys and do horsepower re-rates. It's expensive, and there's a path you can go down to do that. Otherwise, nobody else is going to let you do a horsepower re-rate. None of the other aftermarket tools that are out there will allow you to do that. The only exception I know to the rule is the Detroit. So, for example, Detroit lets you change some ECMs within family, such as you can change it from like 475 to 490, from basically a low to a high horsepower setting. So that option is available in the TEXA unit, and it is available with the Detroit diesel software as well. All right, so hopefully I answered that question as clear as possible. All right, someone's asking about Pocketfleet, and going back to Pocketfleet, that is the question was, is it an annual subscription or a one-time fee? It is a one-time fee. It will never stop working. That's why we love Pocketfleet compared to the JPRO, because basically the JPRO standard heavy duty does the exact same stuff as the Pocketfleet. The Pocketfleet costs less and has no required annual fees. So if you only get updates for 1 year and support for 1 year, and after a year, if you want to keep getting updates and support, it's $125 a year. We've been with Pocketfleet for almost 5 years now. It's made by a company up in Canada. They've done a tremendous job with their software. They're working on some other things with it now, and they're constantly improving it. So it is a very, very good program for the customer that wants that wide coverage, but doesn't necessarily need to get too deep into it. If you're trying to get deep into things to do tests or programming changes, add on the OEM software that we offer, or look at a system like the TEXA. And it looks like we have another question from Jacob. He's saying, do you plan to offer user training on a paid basis, on-site training versus just tech support? So depends where you are. If you're in one of our markets where we have salespeople, and we have salespeople currently in North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Kentucky, Tennessee, and now Northern California area as well. So we have people in those markets that can come on site to do training, that can come on site to do demonstrations. Outside of that, if you're a big enough organization and you buy enough, yeah, we'll fly someone out there if you really want an on-site demonstration. Otherwise, we have a lot of really, really good videos, and we're releasing more and more of them that cover not only the overview approach, but it cover detailed information. How do I do this? How do I do that type of stuff? And we are also available on the internet. So our tech support people, trust me, every time they get a call and they show somebody has a problem, they do everything they can to show and teach that person how to do it so that we can hopefully avoid a phone call in the future and make it a better tool for you. I will say, training-wise, on our higher end or more popular kit, the TEXA system, that one will definitely we have a lot of training on that. On that unit, we do webinars about every 2 to 3 months that cover new features and our more advanced training. We include 30 minutes of training videos with every TEXA purchase. They're on the internet, on YouTube, and we also put them on the desktop now as well. We send out newsletters every other month updating customers on changes and developments with that program. And we obviously do the one-on-one stuff over the internet with customers as well. Everyone that buys a kit from us gets free training with us. That's never an issue at all. So hopefully that answered that question. So thank you, Jacob. So, you know, we got a question here. Someone said, hey, why did you guys sell me a Bosch system last year instead of the TEXA? And the reason being is we didn't know about the TEXA until September. So we started selling the Bosch system back in June, July-ish area. And I'm going to be honest, over half the customers that bought a Bosch or a TEXA have traded it in or returned it to us because they didn't like some of the issues and the functionality wasn't there as advertised. So to answer your question for Rapid Recovery is the one that asked, we would be more than happy to take yours in on trade and make you a very good deal to get you out of that unit and get you into a TEXA. We've done that for a number of clients, and I believe they've been happy in every situation. The Bosch, like I said, it's a good tool. The problem with this tool is that it was really oversold by Bosch to the distribution network. So when someone advertises a tool that will do something, we sell a bunch of them, and then you come to find out they won't do it, it's not a good situation for everybody. So we've done our very, very best to address those as customers that have complaints and get them out of that tool and into the TEXA unit. All right, so got a question about, let's see, Jeff asked, Pocketfleet says it's out of date and won't work. All right, Jeff, give us a call. It should always work, but to update, you do have to pay. So if you've owned the Pocketfleet software for more than a year, we have to get you paying that annual fee, and we can get you updated to the newest version. If it's out of date, it should still work. Call our tech support line, and they will work with you to fix whatever issue it is. A lot of times it's not the software. It could be a setting in the software. It could be an adapter problem or whatever it is. We definitely want to know about the issues, and we will do our very best to fix them, but it does not stop working if you don't pay the fee. But to do the updates, yes, you do. So, Lori, I believe that's it. I think I answered all the questions you sent my way. One customer did ask about the F5G Master Pro, and the reason that's not in the slide is because I haven't tried that one out yet. There's obviously a lot of tools out there. We try to step on the best we can, but the F5G Master Pro, I believe that is one of the imports from China by one of the companies, I believe. I'm not entirely sure, but I will definitely research that one as well, and once we can get one in here, we'll go hook up to some trucks and see what it really does, because that's where the rubber meets the road, is when you start actually hooking up the trucks and not listening to someone tell you what it can or can't do. All right. So Lori, is there any other questions or that we need to talk about?
No, I'm not seeing anything else in chat. I know Henderson County asked about another model, but we'll address that outside of the webinar.
Okay, great. Well, again, I was trying to keep this to 30 to 45 minutes. So again, if anybody wants to talk to us or get in-depth or get more information or do some one-on-one stuff, please give us a call or email. We're definitely here to help you. Otherwise, I really, really appreciate everyone's time. And if you have any questions, let us know. Otherwise, thank you again. And the recording will be available. And Lori has everyone's email address. So we'll send you the recording or the slides of it. And again, thank you very much for your time. And we hope to hear from you. Have a good day, everybody.